Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
This week, as I was coming back from my time away, when I received that news about the hostages earlier in the week, so very difficult and painful and so sad. And usually I'm more of a news person than a social media person, but for once it was social media that really pulled me because of how personal it was. And my cousin, Rabbi Menachem Creditor, he was one of the first people who made it so personal. And he was talking about Hirsch, Goldberg, Poland, and saying how very personal it was. And he was talking about that beautiful face and that beautiful parents and just the sadness of it and the tremendous shock and grief. And as I watched the entire Jewish world through this week, it was incredible. So many people, every direction, from every place, this outpour of grief and a sense of sharing in what was happening. For the 6 of them, their families, who spent 10 months holding on, 11 months almost, and then so close to a deal, and then it really felt as if we're just so close. So we have this Jewish tradition, right? Every person is a world. And in Hirsch's case, we all felt that we were part of that world and why it's so dear to us. And I don't think I've read, I don't know how many of you spend time on Facebook, I don't think I've read so many spontaneous, beautiful poems in the last week about a person as I have about Hirsch. And just on the notice it said, Yeled Shel Or, just a child of light. And so many people changed their profile to just a picture of one other person. And even in the video of the funeral, I didn't listen to all of it. There were moments where it was fairly muted. They were just singing, it was soulful, but there wasn't this outburst, because I think because people knew he was this incredible but gentle soul, and it was all in the spirit of who Hirsch was. Also, looking at all of it, what I think we can say and realize this week, after the hopelessness also faded away, is all those months that we spent putting up posters and walking up and down Harlem and seeing the posts and reading articles, they were not actually in vain. They weren't in vain. Because we have this old expression in Judaism, often overused, Kol Yisrael arevim ze bazeh. All of Israel support one another. And sometimes it doesn't feel real, but this week it felt very real. And I was once in Los Angeles many years ago, and I saw a very elderly, sick man on the other side of the road. And this time I crossed the street to go help out, and he was very grateful for the help and took me to his apartment and said he was a rabbi. And he said, "Can you buy me some kosher bologna?" And I said, "Sure." And I came back, and then he put his hand on my head to bless me, and he said, Kol Yisrael arevim ze bazeh. All of Israel have to support each other. And I've been helped countless times myself. When I arrived in this country to go to rabbinical school, I was in shul in Los Angeles, and someone asked me my name, and he said, "Oh, are you the Glick family that's in Toronto?" And I said, "Yes, originally." And so it turned out that my great-grandfather, who was a cantor and a jeweler, had made the wedding ring and married his parents. And so he took care of me during that first year, did so many things. And this is when we're at our best. And when the Jewish people and those connected to the Jewish people draw closer, when we draw closer to each other, whether it's in these terrible moments of grief or in joy, then that's when we go back to what we're really all about. And I think the question, and maybe even the instinct that we all feel at this moment, is that we have to unite to face what's there before us. We have to be united before this very difficult situation. And this is how we approach the month of Elul that takes us to the holidays. A month supposed to do tshuva, return, and to feel the closeness of Am Yisrael, the Jewish people. We hear the shofar being blown. I think we've been hearing the shofar being blown for the last 11 months, but now we're going to hear it actually being blown. I mean, we're taught Elul is an anagram for Ani le dodi v'dodi li. I am my beloved and my beloved is mine. And we're trying to draw closer to each other, and even in these challenging times, as best we can muster, to grow in closeness to the Rock of Israel. And so when, I don't know how many of you saw the online funeral, but when Hirsch's mother, she spoke at her son's funeral at Har Menuchot, which is a cemetery in Jerusalem, one of the main cemeteries, and there were tens of thousands there and tens of thousands more online. And the lines for the Shiva this week, just to say one word of consolation, were an hour long in Jerusalem. But she spoke of the gratitude, of the gift of having Hirsch in her life. She said her goodbyes, but she also had a piece of paper with the number of days since the hostages were taken. She didn't take it off. She said that even if Hirsch was not going to be one of those who made it, she was not going to rest until all of the others were home. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.